Welcome into the Fantasy Sanctuary. I am your humble host, Tyler, aka Emo Cowboy, everywhere, Twitter, Underdog, DraftKings, everywhere you can find me. It's week 6. We're here to answer your last minute emergency start sit questions. So drop them in the chat. We're going to get to them and get every single one. First up, James in the chat asking Fields or Kyler. Really good question. Looks like there might be a little bit of rain in Green Bay. Kyler's been a little inconsistent, but both similar types of rushing upsides. Kyler's still seemingly the higher upside, um, you know, passing. But this is definitely a quandary because the Vegas matchup is seemingly really soft. But the Green Bay defense hasn't exactly been very good. I lean Kyler still, considering play volume and all that good stuff. So it's really hard to it's really hard to trust what Arthur Smith in this offense is going to do. Want to look at consensus ranks real quick to test my Kyler lean vibes. Looking for Thorman. Yeah, Thorman has Kyler ranked as a top 10 option this week. Fields outside the top 10. So we're going Kyler. Don't want to get too cute. Vegas could turn out to be a total shit show, and they could just lean on the run with Warren back. FF Towney asking Bucky Irving or Chuba Hubbard. Loving Bucky getting work. Don't think he's going to get the full workload that staff tends to mix in running backs. Previously, we've seen guys like Chase Edmonds, mix in. So I don't think Bucky gets the whole workload, and it's not the easiest matchup in the world. So we're definitely going Chuba, who does have the full workload on lockdown, and the Atlanta defense isn't exactly stopping anyone. Don't outsmart it. Chuba is a locked and loaded RB2 with RB1 upside every week. DG, what up? PPR Tucker Dobbs Polk pick 2. Thanks. Also, if I answer your question, please hit the like, please hit the sub. If you're on Twitter, would appreciate just hopping into YouTube, hit that like, hit that sub. Every little bit helps the algorithm. DG asking Tucker Dobbs Polk. Tucker with Jacoby out, and we're rocking with Polk. Drake May is in, Stevenson's out, Gibson's going to fill in. Houston should push New England. Polk has been so close to 2 touchdowns this season. He's leading the team in all the advanced metrics you would want to see. I have a hard trusting Dobbs with Watson questionable and limited, Wicks playing poorly but still leading the team in targets, and a little bit of bad weather with a really easy rushing matchup for Jacobs and co. So we chase upside on this channel, and Tucker and Polk are the upside picks. I'll check consensus ranks to test my vibes on Polk versus Dobbs, but I'm pretty sure the good folks and the experts would lean that way as well. It's always good to test your takes, right? Thorman disagrees with me. Thorman has Dobbs ranked in the top 50 picks and Jalen Polk outside the top 50 picks. So expert consensus would say Dobbs. I'm saying Polk. I think we've seen Drake May. It just takes one big play, and Polk's operating at all levels of the field. He and Pop Douglas have much higher floors and ceilings this week than I think people are giving him credit for. So there you go. Real St. Pat, what's up? Welcome to the chat. Start 3, Kyron, Pacheco, CMC. Yeah, okay. Oh man, it's tough, right? It's tough. Bye weeks and injuries are brutal bitch. That said, Tyler Algier with the weird Bijan hammy and shoulder 2 weeks in a row, super soft matchup. Algier, not the worst RB2 in the world, honestly, to have to be leaning on. And I say like backup running back in the lineup this week. Emmanuel Wilson, same thing versus Arizona. Not too bad. Braylon's the more tough thing. No problem, DJ. DG, appreciate you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's hard to say how that. It seems like the clear targets are Tucker Kraft for the low yak stuff, Wicks for the low yak stuff. He's just dropping balls, and Reed. So like your locked in guys are Reed and Jacobs, and everybody else is kind of a toss up. So yeah, I'd rather chase the Polk thing. We saw Will Levis first start go like just yellow ball, chuck 4 touchdowns, Hopkins 8. Um, I'd rather miss out on like 2 points difference between Wobbs, Dubs and Polk, um, and at least set myself up well for like the big nuke week if Drake May is worthy of a top 3 draft pick, which he was. Stephen McMahon. Hey, Tyler. I'm very lucky to have the option of McBride and Ferguson. I'm guessing a coin flip. Yeah. Exactly. Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's not tight end premium because if it was tight end premium, I have a strong inkling you'd be starting both guys. McBride leads the league in target share. He's just not seeing as many red zone looks. We do know red zone is make or break for touchdowns, which really separates the whole position. Yeah, probably closer to coin flip than we'd like. Really promising matchup versus Detroit being more of like a pass funnel than not. So yeah, you can't make a bad decision here. I still lean McBride because of the underlying stuff. He's been really close to having a really, really strong day. So assuming not tight end premium, assuming half PPR, it definitely is closer to a coin flip. Expert consensus rankings with Thorman, he has Ferg ranked as a top 2 tight end play and McBride as a top 4. I'm imagining that's because pace, that's because of offensive environment. You've got the dome game with Detroit, Dallas again versus outside of a little bit of rain with the Green Bay, Arizona game. McBride isn't seeing as much middle of the field stuff right now, nor red zone stuff. So I'd say slightly into Ferguson because of the red zone work, lack of Cooks. Yeah, you can't make a bad decision here, but yeah, if you're chasing total ceiling, I think you have to say Ferguson has a higher red zone and touchdown equity than the Cardinals right now. They don't look like they have their offense figured out. They're not really utilizing the middle of the field, and Ferguson's looking really solid. So I slightly into Ferguson for red zone stuff, and Detroit should definitely push them, whereas Cardinals and Green Bay both kind of struggling offensively to figure it out. It could just turn into a run smash mouth football game between Connor and Jacobs, Who to Mike? PPR need 2 start Cooper, Gibson, Eckler. So assuming this is Amari, Gibson, and Eckler. I mean, straight up, I don't think you can go wrong with Gibson and Eckler. McNichols is definitely going to mix in a lot more than people want to believe. He's probably not a bad RB3 to throw in there. It's hard to trust Cooper, who's seems like touchdown or bust, right? That Watson and that offense look really, really rough. It's just hard to trust anything there. So I think like absolute ceiling, yeah, Cooper, but I think you can get similar ceiling with Gibson and Eckler, with a lot more floor baked in. I'll check my vibes on that versus consensus ranks. Yeah, they have Gibson easily outpacing Cooper. Thorman has him as the number 50th rank, and Cooper is the 52nd. So yeah, I just roll Eckler, roll Gibson for workloads, for game environments. We gotta just kind of like write off the Browns players, if and until they get Winston in, because otherwise it just looks like you're just smashing the unders, and everyone sucks. Yeah, no, that's you're welcome. Aren't we all? Appreciate y'all. Anyone on Twitter, if I answered your question, thank you so much for submitting your question. Hit that YouTube link real quick. Give us a little, it's on the channel. I linked it in the original thread. Just hit that link. Come over here, hit the like. Appreciate you. Every little bit helps the old algorithm so that I can keep lambasting every Sunday to make sure that we get your questions answered. Stephen back, same question. Daniels or Hurts? Looks like I have the greatest roster ever. Not the case. Yeah. No, you know what? You work the waiver wire. You get some. It's a good problem to have, right? Especially with injuries, war of attrition. Daniels or Hurts? Last time I checked underdog projections, Hurts had a slight, like 1.5, 2 point lead on that. So that's a good question. Hurts getting AJ Brown and Devonta Smith back is huge. Daniels has been crushing it. But Cleveland looks hapless. I'm checking my vibes. You can't make a bad decision here. Obviously, you know that. Yeah, Thorman has them back to back, number 2 and number 3, with Hurts number 2, Daniels number 3. I think from a passing game standpoint, Daniels has been really, really good, and they've just missed on some McLaurin touchdowns and big plays, which could obviously sway things. We expect Baltimore to push Washington a lot. Baltimore's defense did just get beat up by Cincinnati and Burrow. So, yeah, hard to make a bad decision here. Expert consensus has a slight lean to Hurts. They did just come off the bye week. So, if I was saying, chase the hot hand offense, Daniels is the edge, but they did just get a week off to game plan and get their players back healthy, and A.J. Brown has set up the smash really well. The Cleveland pass rush isn't awful, so it could lead to some Hurts scrambling. Yeah. My official stance is I lean Daniels because it feels like they won't be able to just lean on the run with B-Rob probably, out and McNichols just feeding in, but they do feed the running backs a lot. And Saquon's got a nice matchup setting here. You worry that they're just totally boat racing Cleveland and they just put it in Saquon's belly and let him run away. Cliff runs the ball a lot too. Let's go Hurts. He's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devonta Smith back. He's got Dallas Goedert. All of his guys are healthy. His pass game ceiling could get them there. And it seems like they're willing to do his tush push still versus Daniels. Seems like they are very willing to just put it into Eckler or McNichols' hands in the goal line, and that kind of hurts his total upside. So let's go Hurts. Can't make a bad decision here. You're likely just looking at who gets the rushing touchdowns. Feel like we don't have the same Hurts Barkley is stopping his rushing. I mean, I think you're seeing the effects of new offense, losing your top receiver for 3 weeks. Should have had a second touchdown to Devonta Smith 3 weeks ago with his 1 touchdown game. So you're just seeing some variance, honestly. They're definitely not looking like the steamrolling Eagles, but they're still, I think they're primed to come back and look a lot stronger coming out. Of course, Steven. Appreciate you. Appreciate all the questions and answers. How about them Jaguars, though, right? Hapless fucking team. Drops galore. Can't get anything going. Sad state. All right. We've got 15 minutes till kickoff. We'll stay live to see if anybody needs last-minute advice. Start-sit dilemmas galore. I'm surprised I haven't seen any stuff with Mixon, limited, potentially splitting time with Dame Pierce and Dare. Who knows how that works out. Zach Moss apparently getting a full practice in, and so he's going to play. For those potentially worried about Chase Brown, they didn't have a public presser streamed late week, but Coach Week Index found a tweet from the beat, and apparently the Chase Brown quad came out of nowhere and seemed really, really minor. So shouldn't be a thing according to Coach Speak. This is the same coach, though, that told us nothing was wrong with T. Higgins before fucking around with T. Higgins' workload and playing time. So yeah, there's only so much you can believe 100%. Real St. Pat saying maybe the answer to the real problem in Jax is all of them. I mean, yeah, the whole fucking Peterson's not the only problem. It's Peterson. It's who he installs as the OC. It's bulky, paying top linebacker free agent contracts 5-6 years in a row, spending draft picks on trait guys, lest we forget Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. That's looking fantastic, right? And then just not really prioritizing offensive weapons. Last year they walked into the season with just Christian Kirk and Evan Ingram with a declining Zay Jones. They're yeah, we're good. Who needs youth? Who needs pop? It's what are we doing? And then even then, this game, and yeah, the whole culture needs a reset. It's very obvious. It's led Trevor Lawrence to play very streaky. It's led to the players playing very streaky and letting him down. It's a total domino effect. You gotta just, dude, Jesus Christ, fucking bedhead from last night's concert, ridiculous. It's bugging me. I got OCD. Yeah, you just gotta clean house, man. But Shad Khan is a coward. They gotta play. They got like a second London game, don't they? Next week. So it's just a sad affair. But it's kind of like, it's an ownership thing. If the ownership isn't willing strong changes, then everybody suffers. All right. Staying live for the good people. Seeing if we get any last minute start sit questions. Last couple of weeks on this Start Sit Emergency Pod, we've had some nice hits. Talked about chasing upside with Addison 2 weeks ago on his 2-touchdown game. Last week, mentioned gotta trust Kyler. He's got that. It was someone asked Stroud versus Kyler, and I said, as much as you gotta love Stroud, he's a pocket passer with little to no rushing, and Kyler's rushing alone can match him. And I literally say, he can get 50 yards rushing in a touchdown, and he's already matched or superseded what Stroud can do in a mediocre passing day. What the first fucking drive, Kyler rips off a 50-yard rushing touchdown. Talk about nailing the process. 25-point day for Kyler last week. Unfortunately, doesn't really get anybody else all the way back there, but some fun stuff on tap for today. Joe Flacco starting, Pittman apparently potentially going. Okay, here we go. Got some more questions. Rory going McBride or Kraft. Oof. Kraft is such like a yak dink and dunk guy that Dwayne McFarland was saying, like, you kind of fear like where the regression is coming if he's not running hot on like long yak touchdowns. So I still lean McBride. Assuming PPR, absolutely McBride. Half PPR, still McBride. Thorman has him ranked 4th and Tucker Kraft 6th. So it's still, I mean, the point chasing was correct last week, right? He gets there for 2 touchdowns, but Dubs back, Watson active, weird rainy thing. The Cardinals are likely not to push them as much as the Rams did, just because the Rams do have a semblance of identity. I think process-wise, I think you just have to keep running McBride. And he's leading the league in target share. The second he gets any sort of red zone role or just starts getting a little bit more middle of the field stuff, if like Drew Petzing in this offense adapts, then we're good to go. Danzel Barrett says Cooper, JK, or Eckler flex. Okay, well, I don't know if it's PPR or half PPR, so this could change my opinion. It's between JK Dobbins and Eckler. Eckler's matchup and usage seems nice, so I lean Dobbins is likely to have more workload. Denver's a good defense. It's more of a good pass defense though. From a pure volume perspective, Dobbins probably gets more work. Eckler's not going to get all of the work. He's going to split with McNichols. Okay, you're saying full PPR. Okay, that's helpful. And full PPR, it's between those two running backs. Expert consensus has J.K. Dobbins at number 13 and has Eckler at 18. I think you have to agree with that. J.K. Dobbins was pacing for like 85% of the workload. With Vidal active, he could get even more work because Gus was so bad. Like J.K. Dobbins could get more of the red zone work that was going to Gus. So I think you got to go Gus because Eckler is just not seeing like he's being efficient with what he's having, but he's not seeing like a true workload. And at the end of the day, running back is a game of workload, especially PPR. So I'd say go J.K. Dobbins in your flex. Rory, yeah. With PPR, like Kraft could just have like a 4 or 5 target game for 30 yards without a yak touchdown, and I think you still rather have like the 6, 7, 8 target game for McBride, and you hope one of them breaks. Albert asking start Trey Sermon or Tyrone Tracy PPR. That's a good question. I lean Tracy for like the workload. Sermon saw 59% of the snaps last week. Did see a good amount of targets with Flacco starting. That becomes a lot more nice for him. It is a pretty good defensive matchup, though. Tracy looked really solid. Cincinnati's rushing defense is not good. Neighbors being out again, likely to ride him. So I lean Tracy. Thorman and Expert Consensus also leans Tracy in PPR. Tracy's likely to see more of the work, and last week he got there all on rushing. Only 2 targets, 1 reception for like 2 yards. This week, if he sees even a little bit more of that Singletary like pass work, he's crushing. So I think I highly recommend going Tracy with a PPR ceiling, especially in that matchup. Tennessee versus Indianapolis could just be like an ugly slugfest because Tennessee's offense looks bad with Levis AC sprained throwing shoulder joint injury, and their defense is pretty solid. You're welcome all. If we hit your question, hit that like button real quick. Hit the sub if you're not already there. Appreciate all the regulars coming in, getting their vibes-based questions asked. We're here to help people win. And then Trey Sermon without that touchdown last week, looking a little bit more thin. Same thing with Tracy, though. Tracy was getting out-snapped by Eric Gray until he fumbled in the end zone. But he looked so good. And looked like Dayball said, hey, he did what we asked him to do. We're gonna keep giving him that opportunity. Also, Pittman going from like potentially IR candidate to active today is wild. Alec Pierce potentially big dart hit today. Be nice if Marvin Harrison could hit there today. So per Glazer, Pittman's expected to be full go. Wonder if that's just full go decoy though. 8 minutes before kickoff. Stay in line for anyone's last minute start set questions. Check for any last minute news to share with the folks. I think we're all set. Yeah, all the last minute Glazer bombs. Albert asking because bye weeks are always a bitch. Jerome Ford or Rico Dowdle. Ooh, probably Dowdle. Ford's been getting his workload eaten into by Pierre Strong now, as well as Foreman. And we were just talking about how you're kind of having to fade. I'm assuming this is PPR as well. You're kind of having to fade the Browns until the situation changes because it's so bad right now. Expert consensus agrees. If PPR, Dowdle over Ford, 23rd ranked versus 29th ranked play there. Doesn't look like that changes much with half PPR. Rico's just looked good, and he's being trusted in the pass game. I think you gotta go Dowdle. Ford is you gotta leave Ford on your bench right now. James, great question. I covered this to start the stream, or middle of the stream. You were here for the start. Per the coach, Chase Brown's, it was the quad thing. He was full practice Friday. Taylor was like, I wasn't even aware of it. I don't know what happened. I'm not really concerned. It seems super mild. He should be totally fine, good to go. Zach Moss got in a full practice for his foot or ankle thing. But if he misses any time, obviously Chase becomes a massive hit, absorbing any of that workload. But it seems like he's a full go, no concerns. Something weird happened per the coach. Now, this is a coach that's pulled some bullshit about T. Higgins and crap before, but vibes-wise, it seems Chase is fine. Chase is fine. He's set up. You play him. He and Zach Moss are plays. You worry about Zach Moss potentially re-aggravating whatever this ankle and foot thing is, and that benefits Chase. So if you have Chase, you're playing him, and he has upside of Moss gets limited or, managed down. TS, welcome to the chat. Hit that like, hit that sub. Appreciate you coming in and asking your last minute start question. We got Mixon or Connor PPR. Connor. Mixon, we don't know what his workload is going to be with this really weird ankle foot, up and down, limited, questionable, not active, whatever. This week, it's not like he's the only running back. They split Cam Akers with Dare Ogunbowale, and now Dane Pierce is back. So likely Mixon sees like the long down and distance and the red zone stuff, but they could ease him back in with Dane Pierce and Dare. Connor's seeing all of the work. It's a pretty good matchup for him. I struggle to trust a guy like Mixon straight in my lineup. I'm benching in some of my lineups where I can for guys like Gibson or Zach Moss. Similar types of plays where it's like I can't risk him getting managed down on the workload or splitting workload because he could easily re-aggravate whatever the fuck's going on because he's not fully back. Yeah, it's tough. So I'd say Mixon's upper percentile ceiling definitely higher than Connor's, but like right now, if we adjust for the injury stuff, you play Connor, you hope he and the Cardinals can have like a really solid game against this Green Bay defense. He's been super good rushing and receiving. The game being a little rainy could play in his advantage. Connor still has a high ceiling. You play Connor, you hope for the best. And as Rich says, good luck all. It is week 6. 4 more minutes till kickoff. We will stay live right up until 12 o'clock, whatever time it is where you are. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 6 o'clock for the UK folks, maybe. To get your last minute start sit questions, but I think we nailed it. Y'all give me some softballs today. They weren't too tough. Besides Steven with the absolutely goated roster. Hurts or Daniels, McBride or Ferguson. It's got to be nice. And I'm over here like dumpster diving running backs because, I've got a roster that's got Pup, Neighbors, Myers, like everybody's hurt. It's brutal. It's tough. All right, 3 minutes. Dun 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 dun. It feels like it's been the longest season. It's only week 6. That's so funny. And the poor London folks, everybody in the UK watching that garbage team play. But at least Caleb got to light it up today. Nearly had a 5 touchdown passing day, if not for that DJ Moore touchdown overturned. So went from bust to, oh, he's him after 2 short weeks. And the year of the running back, Sermon filling in for Taylor, Tracy filling in for Singletary, Cam Akers and Dare Ogunbowale, and your half PPR and PPR leagues filling in for Mixon. Warren or Yoshi Boss PPR? Ooh, I think it's Warren. I think it's Warren. Expert consensus says Yoshi. I guess that's fair. Thorman says Warren. Thorn and I say Warren. We go Warren, baby. Thomas Racky with a last second. Jalil or Jeremy McNichols. McNichols easily. McNichols easily. If you have McNichols, you are starting him. He is an RB2 in Washington. They are going to use him in every phase of the game and in the red zone. That team is like, play him. Play him. Estime is back. I'm not fucking around with McLaughlin. I am taking McNichols to the fucking bank, Thomas. Ooh, caught that one right before kickoff. Same thing with and Pat. Good luck. I do think it's Warren. If Higgins was out or Chase was out, you go Yoshi. But with the way that they're using Eric All and that, yeah, good luck, y'all. With the way they're using the tight ends now, I think you're now seeing Yoshi kind of, his stuff is coming at the expense of the tight ends, and now that T and Chase are kind of like clicking, he's losing a little bit. He's a tight end now where it's like touchdown or bust, right? He's seen like these like quick red zone hits. He's not seeing like deep targets because Burton is running those targets. All right, that's kickoff, folks. Good luck. Thanks for joining us here. Best of luck for week 6. I'll catch y'all Friday for another Battle Royale and Start Sit and Advice and Pick'em stream. Appreciate y'all. Much love to everybody in the chat. Thanks so much for joining. Good luck. Enjoy. What is it? Like 8 hours interrupted of football today? Let's go.